Hey, gang. Welcome back. Another episode of Try Not to Curse. Little housekeeping. I realized in the episode with Katie, when referring to Mike Ron Steve's car, I kept calling it a Polaris for some reason. Don't know why. But it's a Polestar. Just needed that clarification before I get any type of letters from either Polaris or Polestar. So there's that. I'm back with my mom. It's been a while since we've chatted, and I thought it'd be fun to, since it is the holiday time, to talk about holiday traditions and family things, and we'll see where the conversation goes. But hi.
Hello.
Hi, Joanne. Welcome back.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And we are at my house, so, typical rules apply. The cats do what the fuck they want, and we'll see what happens. But, yeah, so we had Thanksgiving. Christmas is barreling down at us.
Yes, it is.
Good God. I feel like it's tomorrow. It's going to be Christmas. But
well, no, we still have, 10 days? 9 days?
12 days.
12 days?
12,
Okay, 12 days.
13, yeah, 13 days.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Today's the 12th?
Today's the 12th.
12th. Okay, so yeah, 12 days.
Y'all are not hearing this on the 12th, but today, the day we are recording,
yes,
is the 12th.
It's the
yes.
12th.
So you grew up in a German household.
Yes.
Were there any German specific holiday traditions you guys did? And it doesn't have to be Christmas related, of
right.
course, but
Oh, absolutely. We had German specific food. The Christmas tree, as you may all know, was a German thing.
Tannenbaum.
So yes. So actually, what was different for me growing up, was that we did gifts on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
We didn't do the, wake up Christmas morning and see what Santa left. It was Christmas Eve that we got the gifts. I've changed that because to me it makes more sense to get your gifts on Christmas morning.
Well, I was going to say, how did you go to sleep on Christmas Eve knowing you had these new things to play with, and it's like how do you go to bed after opening a gift and then you don't get to play with it?
I don't know. It didn't seem to be a problem.
Okay.
The one I remember very specifically one Christmas, and I think I was probably about 7 or 8, and the tree was up, but it wasn't lit. And I remember, and the way our house was, the first floor, the bottom floor, living room, dining room, kitchen were kind of like in a circle, so you could walk around from one room through the front foyer and then into the other room and around, and so the Christmas tree was in the back corner of the living room, and there was a door to the front foyer and then another door across to the dining room, so it was kind of out of the way, but you could get to it. And there was a big commotion, and I remember somebody saying, "Oh, Santa came," because the tree was lit up by some magic. Like all of a sudden the tree was lit up.
Yeah.
And that's a very strong memory that I have.
That's nice.
Yeah. Other than that, I remember, there was another thing in German. It's called a Tellerful, which means a plateful, and it would be nuts and fruits and candies, and everybody would get their own. Oh. So you would get a plate full of, walnuts and little cookies maybe, and an apple and an orange or whatever like that. So that was a thing that I remember.
I was going to say, I'm used to seeing those at our cousins, but it's just one plate.
It's one big plate. Yeah.
So,
but
real tree, fake tree? I mean, they didn't.
Well, we did for many years have a really horrible artificial tree. I remember that tree very well. It had really skinny, dark green, branches, and was not very attractive. But, once you cover it with decorations, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
What I do remember very fondly, and I wish I knew what happened to it, is that we had a wonderful manger set. We had, it was a beautiful little,
was it ceramic?
No. Okay. It was I don't know, it was press board, but it was very rough, the surface was very rough. It was dark, and it had a place where you could put a star, like at the peak of the. It had a roof, and it had like little railings, and I remember we had a little pigeon that could sit on one of the railings, and the figures were ceramic, I guess, porcelain, whatever they were, but it was absolutely gorgeous, and it's gone, and I have no idea where it went.
I do remember I thought there was a ceramic one at Tenamarians.
Well, yeah, but no, it wasn't
the
one.
The same one.
I don't think it was the same one. But anyway, that I do remember very fondly. And especially that pigeon. That pigeon was, I think, my favorite piece. Well, yes, but it had little pigeon feet, and it would stand up. It would, you could, and they were like little wire feet. Yeah. So you could adjust them to have that, so it would stand up. That's funny. And that was like my favorite thing. I loved that little pigeon. Yeah. So, but that whole manger was, and the whole set was really beautiful.
So when did you guys set up, when did you guys decorate for the holidays? Because I recently just had heard that, not your generation, but the generation prior, like they would they wouldn't do anything. They would get the tree, but it wouldn't get decorated until Christmas Eve when the kids were asleep, so that the next morning it was like, oh yeah, Santa came and he did the tree and he did the decorations. So I'm just curious, how far, because now some people are starting, and like after Halloween they start.
Sure. So. Well, I you know what? I really don't remember. I know we didn't do it a whole lot before, maybe like a week or two at the most before Christmas, did we? And we didn't really do a lot of decorating. Yeah. Basically we did the tree. I don't remember if we even had like outside lights or anything.
A wreath, probably.
Maybe.
No.
I really don't remember. I remember, when you guys came, you and your sister were born, and we tried to
we did the lights on the house.
We did the lights on the house. Yeah. I always liked the candles in the windows. Yep. I always did that.
Edward, I would really like to do that here, but between the cats and and I only have so many windows that face out anyway. Yeah. But every time I see it, I think of that growing up.
Yeah. Well, I getting back to the New York Times, when I used to deliver the New York Times, and I drove all around New Milford in the middle of the night, and I would see, and that was my favorite thing, was to see everybody's Christmas decorations. Yeah. And one of my favorites, there was a house up on, I think it was on West Meeting House, and they had decorated the whole front of the house like a present, like a gift.
Oh, that's cool.
And the whole front of the house was like wrapped in paper with a big ribbon and a big bow on it. And that's one of my favorite memories.
That's
and then
wild.
And seeing like at the top of Long Mountain, out in the middle of the woods where there's nobody around, but they had their candles in the windows, and it was just so beautiful.
Yeah. That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing with Christmas is the Christmas story, the child is born, is a very, very, very old story which predates Christianity by many centuries, and every culture has, or most cultures have, something similar. Yeah. So it's not the Christmas story that moves me. It's the idea of the fact that it's the darkest time of year, and that we celebrate light, and we celebrate hope in the middle of darkness. And so that's why when I see the lights in the middle of the dark, in the middle of the woods, and out in the middle of nowhere, that always gets to me.
But it's dark as fuck, though. Like, well, it really is. Like, it is. And we were talking about this on Facebook a couple weeks back, as there was a meme or something somebody had posted, like, yeah, daylight savings, you lose an hour, you go back an hour, or you gain an hour, whatever it is. I don't know.
Well, you don't gain or lose anything. It's just we just change the time.
But we change the clock. But for some reason, that 1 hour, how is it like darker like 5 hours earlier than, you know what I mean? Like
Well,
it's and
well,
it's like by
because
6 o'clock. I mean, it's fucking pitch black, and I don't know
yes.
if it's just because I'm older now and I'm noticing it or what, but like every time I get on the road, I'm like, gee, I can't see a fucking like
Well,
it is the
well, yes. I
blackest
mean,
black it's ever been.
it gets well. The days get
Yeah.
shorter. The daylight hours get
Yeah.
shorter
Oh my
as it
God.
is
Sucks.
naturally. But then
Yeah, because we're jerks.
we exacerbate it
Yeah.
by moving the clocks.
Yeah.
So, and I still argue, and I had this conversation with Gail on Sunday where
Yeah.
he would rather stay with standard time,
Right.
and I would rather stay with daylight savings because we need the light at the end of the day,
Right.
not at the beginning of the day.
And studies have shown that it's better for the economy. If I mean that's not something that people think about, but when it's lighter out, when it's nicer out, people want to stay out. So
Right.
people are more inclined to go out to eat. They're more inclined to go out
Yeah.
and do things.
Yeah.
But when it's pitch black, you
Yes.
just want to get in your pajamas. and come home and
there was a post on Facebook I saw now a few different times
Yeah.
where it says all the experts say that children do better if they go to school later.
Yes.
And,
I saw that too.
you know,
yeah.
so on and so forth. And yet we still insist,
Yeah.
you know, and especially, you know, well, and it's opposite. The younger children do better earlier.
Yeah.
Teenagers do better later. And
Well,
we
yeah,
have it
'cause
exactly
what
the
fucking-
opposite.
What 17-year-old wants to get
Right.
up at 6 a.m.?
But we have it the opposite.
Yeah, I know. Because we're
which-
jerks.
yeah, well,
because we're jerks.
humans. Damn humans.
But so Christmas time in your house, like, did you ever like what was like a big gift that you, because again, like I feel like your generation, I mean maybe not your generation, but grandma's generation, like it wasn't about like big giant over the top crazy.
Well, I think it would definitely depend on
what was the Cabbage Patch Kid of yours.
well, I think it depends on the socioeconomic level of the family that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because when in 1974, when my mother went to work for this family in Pennsylvania so that she could save up enough money to do my wedding at the house, which her main thing was to people don't believe these things, but this is absolutely true. Her main thing to have the wedding at my house was to dig a well, because I grew up in a very old house.
Yeah.
And our water came from a gravity-fed well, which came down the hill into the house. And the water ran very slowly. There was not a whole lot of force behind it. And so when you flushed the toilet, it took quite a while for the tank to fill up again.
Okay.
So my mother's big concern was when having this wedding at the house, there would be a lot of people using the bathroom, and she didn't want to have them have to wait for the toilet to fill up. So she wanted to dig a well so that we could have an actual pump, pumping water into the house so that it would fill up quicker.
She could have just been, she could have just said, everyone bring a pitcher of water with you.
To fill up the toilet.
And if you
tank.
think you need the toilet more than once, maybe bring some extra.
So in any case, she got a job working for this very wealthy family in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And one of the gifts that the woman of the house got for Christmas was a brand new Cadillac.
Jesus.
And it was delivered to the house by the dealership
With a
and
big
left
bow.
at the front, yes, with the big red bow on it.
Wow.
So, and that was in the 70s. So, okay, it was modern times, but it was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
So, in any case, so I think it depends on the socioeconomic level of the family.
But like for you, do you recall a specific toy or gift or something that you had your heart set on?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And Santa delivered or didn't?
Well, yes. I wanted more than anything, and this was when I was 8 years old, so this is in 1962.
Yeah.
I wanted a Hedda Get Betta doll. Look it up. You can Google it.
Hedda Get Betta.
Hedda Get Betta.
Okay.
Hedda Get Betta had 3 faces. One was a sleeping face, one was a smiling face, and one was a sick face.
That sounds so creepy.
And she had big plastic bonnet with a knob on top, and you would turn the knob to show her 3 different faces. And the sick face, she had spots like she had chicken pox or measles. And there was a little hole that you could, it came with a thermometer. You could stick the thermometer in this little hole.
Okay.
And that was what I wanted more than anything in the world.
Oh my God.
And Santa did not bring Hedda Get Better to my house.
Okay.
So I was very disappointed. But then we went to visit Tante Marion,
Yeah.
my sister, in Queens on Onderdonk Avenue.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Santa brought Hedda Get Better to Tante Marion.
I will say Tante Marion was always pretty good. Like, even if she didn't agree necessarily with what you wanted. Like, I specifically remember the year that she gave me Garbage's album. She had no fucking clue who they were. And Karen and Christina always joked that, you know, she walked into the store and she's like, yeah, I'm here to buy some garbage. Like, you know, like, what, you know. But I do remember she was always very good about if that's what the girls want.
Okay, well,
she would make it happen.
She
some
and
way or another.
she and Oma would clash.
I'm sure.
Quite often, because Oma was very specific about what she wanted.
Okay.
And Tante Marion would always leave it till the last minute and then wasn't able to find exactly what Oma wanted.
Tante Marion was also very good about getting cards for any holiday
and
forgetting
them.
where she put them.
Yes.
Which is like, you have a very small apartment. There's only so many places it could be, but historically,
yes,
you would always get your
that's
card
a family trait. Yeah. I do that. I do that too. But no, one very specific Christmas memory that I have is that, now let me try and get this story straight. Somebody bought somebody else a pair of slacks. I think Oma bought Tante Marion a pair of slacks for Christmas.
Okay.
And Tante Marion indicated that she did not like the slacks. And I have a picture of those slacks getting thrown into the fireplace.
Jesus, what? Really?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
That's hardcore.
Because Oma was not pleased that she wasn't appreciated.
So Oma threw them in the fire?
Oma threw them in the fire.
See, here, I was going to share this story because Tammy has that every couple of years with her kids where, you know, well, they've gotten better as they've gotten older. Listeners, you'll remember Tammy. But her daughters, over the years, if they didn't like something, it was either left on the porch where their Christmas tree is for like months, or she did, in one case of one of her girls, she got her one of those, fucking, you guys remember the Victoria's Secret pink line? Everybody had the pink sweatshirts and the pink sweatpants and everything. It said pink on them. So she got one of the daughters a sweatshirt, and it ended up months later in a bag for Goodwill, but they put it like at the bottom of the bag to purposely like, don't, you know, so you don't realize that I just shucked your $60 sweatshirt that I, you know. So I thought, so, well, okay. Tammy, try that next time. If the shit sits on the porch
just throw it in the fire.
Put it in the fucking fire. That'll teach them. Shit. Oma's such a badass. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's fun. You don't like them? Fine. Oh,
exactly. That was pretty much the conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, and how much older than you was Tante Marion?
17 years.
So again, we're talking about, if y'all remember, we're talking about the adoptive family, the foster family.
Well, the foster family, yes.
Mom grew up with.
Yeah.
Because I explain this to people a lot. It's actually come up a lot in conversation because I work with people who come from very large families over a broad range of generations. And I've kept saying to people, oh yes, technically my first cousins are in their 50s and 60s, and their children, my second cousins, are in their 20s. Some are close to, you know, approaching 30. So I said, yeah, it's really interesting that I'm closer in age with my second cousins than my first cousins. But that's why.
But on the other hand, there was a family that lived downstairs from my sister when she lived in Middle Village in Queens on Penelope Avenue, where the uncle and the nephew was older than the uncle.
Okay.
Because the mother had remarried and had a baby.
Damn.
Before her daughter.
Yeah.
or
No,
however
after the daughter had-
yes,
yeah.
after, so that the uncle was younger than the nephew, not by much, maybe a few months,
It's
but
still
still
weird, though. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So that, I mean, that but see, this is the thing.
That's American families for you.
But this is the thing. When I was growing up, the myth, because I grew up in the 60s, where supposedly, there were all these crazy hippies and all these, wild people that were doing all this wild stuff and doing drugs and having sex, and like this never happened before, and oh my God. And the more you find out about what actually has happened over generations before and since, it's like, you know what? All kind of crazy shit was happening all the time in everybody's family.
Yeah.
So there is a saying, like, the first baby can come at any time, but all the babies after that, 9 months.
Yeah.
So it's like, where did that idea come from? That didn't just happen, didn't start in the 60s.
Right.
So, but I mean, I mean, and of course, growing up Catholic, you get this very idealized view of what life is like, or what it's supposed to be like, or what a good Catholic family is.
Yeah.
But then, you do a little research and you find out, not so much.
Well, I will say, just getting back to our Christmas conversation, and I tell this to people a lot, because I say, my family, we didn't go on vacations. Like, obviously we went on a couple. I'm not going to say we didn't go on any, but we didn't have a ton of cash. So we couldn't drop money on one weekend getaway or whatever like that.
Right, yeah.
But we went to concerts all the time. That was our thing. And I will say, Christmas was always Christmas. You guys did whatever it was you needed to do.
Oh, yes. And then we paid for it for the rest of the year.
Yeah. My mom likes to say, I'll die in debt, something like that. Is that
well,
what
yes. Well, the thing
it's
of it is
better over the years.
Yes, it's definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it would be a shame to pay everything off and then die.
Right. But so, I mean, so I did. I had 2 Barbie dream houses. One was I think a hand-me-down from my cousins. Right? The apartment one? No.
Maybe from Andrea.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
thanks,
maybe.
Andrea.
Maybe.
Solid.
I'm not sure. But...
And I also had 2 Barbie camper vans. One was also a handmade.
Yes, also that was from Andrea.
Thanks,
definitely.
Andrea. Appreciate you.
Yes.
And who, I'm sure hates Barbies now, so that's funny.
Well.
But and my favorite to this day, and I don't even know if I ever told you that, is I had a yellow Sony stereo. It was a cassette and CD player combo. And it was like this sporty thing that because I think it was like water resistant, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
But it was fucking cool as shit, you guys.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna post it on the Facebook page as a preview to you guys. It was fucking cool as shit, you guys. It had a built-in handle, and it was fucking yellow, and it looked cool. Like, I had no business having it because I wasn't a sporty person, and I certainly wasn't carrying it around town or anything. It just sat in my bedroom. But I fucking loved that thing. That thing was so sick.
Well, I tried, and I tried to make it even.
Yeah.
And what was always difficult was because you always knew exactly what you wanted.
As I say, whenever someone hands me a gift card, I said, I've already spent this in my mind.
Yes, of course.
I'm a materialistic bitch.
And your sister never knew what she wanted.
She tortures herself over figuring out how to spend money. It's hilarious.
And she would get so upset because, you got Liz this. And I was like, honey, I will get you something, but you have to tell me what
you need
want.
to make a decision. Meanwhile, I'm running through the mall with bags in my arms, and she's like, I didn't get anything. It's like, no, you didn't. You couldn't settle on anything. Yeah, she would torture herself just to spend $20, and here I am like, I'll take it off your hands.
Sure.
I've still got more on my list.
Oh my God,
the list is never ending, kid. Oh my Christ.
Oh, I know.
That's
I
my love
always tell
language.
people, I said, boy, if Liz thinks she might be getting some money, she's already got that shit spent.
It's my love language. It is, and it's only gotten worse as I've gotten older, because now I'm like, I don't have to wait around for someone to give me these things. I'll get it for myself. I deserve it.
That's
and
it.
you know what?
That's it.
that's
Well, I
basically
mean,
my home is just my
yeah.
shrine to my things, and I'm okay with it. I do not feel bad about it at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But I encourage everyone to live your life that way if that's,
well,
if that's what makes you happy.
can manage. I mean, this is the
Yeah,
problem
that's
is that
yeah.
that
Pay your bills first and
Yes.
then treat yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, but you also have to save for the future.
The future of more things. That's all
really
it's gonna
do.
be. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Jerry Seinfeld has a great bit where it's 100% true. Every single thing that you own is trash.
mm,
Everything.
mm.
It's just future. Oh, I love it. It's been in the family. At one point, you're going to die.
Right.
And someone's going to decide they don't want it. They don't want to deal with it. No one's here to pick up the pieces. What have you?
Well, what is always so funny to me, like you go like to Williamsburg or to some colonial village or whatever it is, and they've dug up somebody's backyard,
right?
This is their garbage,
right?
This is what they threw away,
right? Because they didn't have a landfill, so they just dug a hole and said, we don't need this anymore.
Threw it back there, and okay, this little pitcher might have survived intact,
right?
But basically,
it was of no value to the previous owner.
Just because it's 200 years old or 300 years old doesn't make it valuable.
But now it's on Antiques Roadshow, and you're, my god,
it's somebody's Tupperware that they threw away. That's what it is.
Probably had the lid, lucky bastard. Oh my god, it's so true. But it's so true all the time. And again, even though we don't talk about what I do for a living, at the end of the day, I make trash. That's what I do. That's what I do. And sometimes we'll stand around and we'll have that conversation.
Well, but
listen, it's all trash.
It's useful.
Yes, everything is useful to a degree. But and again, even talking about my bariatric surgery, guys, when I talk about how I hate wasting food, I've come to the reality that all food is eventually going to be wasted. Well, whether it's processed in my stomach and ends up in a toilet.
Right.
It's all waste. It's all waste. It's all waste.
Right.
It's all
that was always in my mind when Omo used to say, "Oh, you shouldn't waste food." And I'm thinking, well, whether I eat it or whether I throw it away, it's still gone.
It's ending up somewhere.
Not, yeah.
We're not safe. We're not holding on to it. Maybe in my ass a little bit.
Yeah. So
everything's trash, you guys. So, but I just love
everything is
trash.
Temporary. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Everything is temporary.
Absolutely.
And if you kind of look at life that way, I think it helps. It gives it a,
But I don't, and again, from your perspective as a parent, I don't know what your memories are of us growing up at Christmas time, but it's a really strange feeling, but like, I can't eloquently describe it. But Christmas morning, in our pajamas, opening presents, sitting there, just enjoying, watching whatever we watched on TV that morning, whatever. And it's a weird feeling, and I wish I could explain why it's such a strong memory for me. But Christmas morning, I always remember it was like the perfect temperature. Like it's a really weird thought to have, but like. I do not remember a Christmas where I'm like, I needed a blanket or a robe or I need you to turn the temperature up. It was like everything about that morning was just cozy and perfect. I don't know why that's what I think of, but whenever I think of Christmas, I feel like warm. I feel like this is warm.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah. But and for some reason we always had you make French toast. Like every holiday, like Thanksgiving morning watching the parade. And Christmas morning, and I think even some Easters, I don't know why it was like French toast was like our like for some reason to us that was like a special thing.
Yeah, we did make,
because we can do pancakes, whatever, you got Eggo waffles in the toaster, whatever. But for some reason, French toast was like our holiday breakfast, and I do strongly remember that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you have good memories.
Oh yeah,
my memories are very fuzzy.
Well, and and again, you guys growing up, mom and dad, and I think this is where like I say a lot, I live in reality because mom and dad were very honest about things. It was never like having private conversations like, I don't know how we're going to afford this. They'd look us dead in the face and be like, listen, kid, we don't fucking got it like that. Like, calm down, lower your expectation. Jesus Christ, who the fuck do you think you are? But yet it was almost like a surprise, like Christmas morning, seeing the amount of shit under the tree. Because but hold on a minute, I thought we were poor as fuck. Like, wait, but you did, you guys.
Well, but you never really asked for anything outrageous either.
That's an absolute. Well, yeah, I guess growing up, maybe the stereo I think was probably the most elaborate.
Well, and there was the time
guitar,
where there was a doll that Catherine wanted. It was it was one of those dolls that eats and drinks and wets,
like the
and
Baby Alive,
but
something like
something
that?
like that. That I had to drive all the way over into New York State somewhere to find this thing because nobody had it.
Yeah,
I think there was a service merchandise in some mall or some way over on the other side of the Taconic. I don't know. And I'm driving, but if I could do it, I would.
But also, how did you do that shit without the fucking internet? How did you just called around? Do you have this goddamn doll?
Yes, absolutely.
Guys.
Yes.
And no with GPS, you guys.
No GPS.
Fucking,
no, we had
no
a map
MapQuest even. You're still the only person I know that knows how to read a map. Like, I don't think I know anyone that knows how to read a map.
Well, shall we tell? Have I told that story about Liz driving to Baltimore? And
there have been a couple times that I've had to call her and be like, "This is where I think I am."
Yes, well,
get me, and she would pull out the map.
Had driven from West Hartford, from college to go to a ceramics convention like you do in Baltimore,
it was
somehow missed
an exit or something.
Ended up in Queens.
Yeah.
And called me at 6:00 in the morning
from a really sketchy gas station.
In the Mustang.
Yep.
And
you guys also
pulled out
my first car was a fucking Mustang. We haven't talked about that.
Pulled out the map and got my glasses, figured out where she was, and said, "Okay, you got to get to 3rd Avenue. If you get to 3rd Avenue, you'll find a bridge or a tunnel to New Jersey, and once you find that, you'll be okay." And she's like, "I got this."
Yeah. Well, and I knew I could call and ask you. Well, first of all, we left at like 2:00 in the morning, so you're welcome that I waited a little bit.
And you had MapQuest, but for some reason, MapQuest put you onto I-95, which I could never understand why it did that.
But the GPS still does shit like that too. It's strange. I don't know. But there was also a time in high school, Josh, Isaac, and I went and saw Stone Temple Pilots in Wallingford. And I think we stopped to get food or something was going on and we just couldn't, or there might have been construction or something. So one way was closed. So I had to call you. I think I called you on a payphone because I think even my cell phone was dead. I don't know. Who knows? Or we weren't in as good service. We had really shitty service. So same thing. I could hear you pulling the map, unfolding it in the background. I said, there's this mile marker, whatever the fuck. And you got us on the right track. But yeah. Not today. Now it's goddamn phone fucking thing and the fucking satellite, fucking no service and shit. What the fuck are you supposed to do with the fucking? How do you get around?
Yeah. Well, I did that when I went Cajun dancing. I was driving all over.
Oh yeah, you were
all over New York State to all over the place, and I had my MapQuest. That's what I had.
Wild. It's wild.
So yeah,
you guys, my generation's been through some shit. I'll tell you, and now we're spoiled as fuck.
Yes.
But you know what? It's nice.
Well, it is.
Nice when it works
this is the thing when people talk about the good old days. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I will take the modern times. I will take I love my phone, my iPhone.
When you have to work to dig a well for a wedding.
Yes, no, thank you very much. But no, I'm very happy with the modern conveniences. Thank you very much.
And again, you guys, I don't know how much you can hear, but the cats are being real assholes. So
they're fine.
There's all kinds of noises
they're
happening.
Just being cats.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just so I don't know. Well, what was it? Was it really stressful getting shit together for the holidays?
Oh, yes.
Did you feel the pressure that everybody feels?
Absolutely.
No matter what?
And I do because and the pressure starts even earlier nowadays. Now it's like before Halloween they start pushing it, and I have to keep telling myself that
it's not you.
Number one, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing that you have to do.
Yeah.
You do it if you want to do it. Like my Christmas cards. Do I have to send out Christmas cards?
Yeah.
I do not have to send out Christmas cards.
Nope.
if I feel like it, if I make the time, if I want to. I have sent out Christmas cards so late that people have gotten them like by New Year's.
Yeah.
And that's fine. What's going to happen? I mean, nothing's going to go, nothing's bad is going to
But
happen.
also, can I just say as an aside, gang, if you get a Christmas card from someone, fucking send one back because that shit's getting expensive.
Well, that's true.
Well, and the way I do my cards too, my cards are fucking expensive every year, and I definitely don't get 110 cards back from the ones that I send out.
Well, that's true too.
And
But
also,
then again,
if you're not going to reciprocate, then tell me to take you off the fucking list because it is a privilege to get one of my cards. You dicks.
Yes.
Send me a fucking card back. Smoke signal, anything. Let me know. We appreciate.
We used to send Christmas cards with family photos in.
Oh, and I remember those days.
Remember those days? Remember the day that Daddy took you out of school?
Because we were so late to do them.
That we could get pictures.
Because we were
and
so
I
late
was
to do them, and you were
furious.
like, fuck it.
I was like, what are you doing?
And again, I want Kat on here so we could talk about Daddy so bad. But my dad, you guys, my fucking dad, he always had the best intentions, but he always just went about things the very wrong way. So there was a year when I graduated 8th grade, I was given a TV for my bedroom. And it wasn't hooked up to cable, anything like that. So like, don't get it twisted. Like it was still the basic channels. And I had I think I finally got a VCR like in high school so I could watch movies in my room, whatever. But my dad felt bad because my sister, who was 4 years younger than me, didn't have her own TV. So he, without telling my mom, got her a TV for her bedroom. And so come Christmas, my mom was like, what the fuck? Like she got the TV because she earned it, because it was a privilege. She graduated 8th grade. She's going to high school. And my dad was just more like, well, the other kid's feeling left out. And she's like, no, that's not.
But the other kid is 4 years younger.
Right.
First of all.
Yeah. And he just didn't get that shit. And he did the same thing. We had a telephone. So I think there was a jack in Kat's room. So he put a phone in her room. Like we went this again, back with dial-up internet, because we had 2 lines. So for the internet. So the internet line became me and Kat's line, but excuse me, sorry, the cat. But again, my sister, there was a jack in her room. So my dad put one of the phones in her room so she could have her own little and meanwhile, I had to go sit in the office if I wanted to talk to a friend or whatever. But yeah, that was my dad. He was just, what's the big deal? It's like, no, buddy. Like he thought he was making an even playing ground, equal. And he's like, but it's like, no, that's not how things work. But what are you going to do?
Not much.
Not once it's already done. You can't return the puppy after you've given it to the kid.
No,
yeah.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Too funny. But those are those memories that we make, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But what about Christmas traditions now? Is there again, and we're, the circumstances are different. I would love to have a tree, can't have a tree because of the cats, but I've figured out a way to decorate and because I get Hallmark ornaments every year. I get Disney ornaments every year. I've still found a way to nicely decorate and keep the cats from fucking up my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing with you. You're in a small place and you don't have a lot of space to go crazy. But not that you would transform the whole house anyway. Like you said, it's a tree.
But we do hang up our Christmas cards.
Yeah.
We put a string along the ceiling and hang the cards up.
Nice.
And we're in discussions about getting the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So probably this weekend we'll get a Christmas tree. But the prices have gone so out of control.
Of everything. Even if you try to get a fake one,
now.
It's
it's ridiculous.
Everything
so anyways,
sucks,
but I mean, I have this nice new tradition of my Advent jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. So and it's very so multicultural because I light the Hanukkah candles and then I do my Advent calendar puzzle. And
well, explain that to people, because I tell people that, and I have a menorah myself, so people will come over, they're like, and it's like, well, A, we're not Christian, B, we're not Catholic, and C, we're not Jewish either. So for us, it's just kind of a free for all.
None of that stuff.
We didn't grow up celebrating Hanukkah. We started celebrating Hanukkah when I was, I don't know, middle school age, I think maybe. So talk about that and the decision to.
Well, because we're Unitarian Universalists.
We sure are.
We celebrate lots of different traditions that we consider valuable, that have a valuable message, that have a valuable idea behind it. And so, the Hanukkah story is something that we celebrate. So, and again, it's another one of the winter, I guess, traditions of celebrating light in the darkest time of the year. So, Hanukkah is Festival of Lights. So, and I just think it's a beautiful. And I got a nice new menorah this year. Did you see
I
it?
did see it.
Yes,
It's very nice.
So
Brian has a similar menorah to yours. Brian Kitchens. Shout out Brian Kitchens. I know he doesn't listen, but maybe one day. And shout out to Brian's mom. Hi, Mrs. Kitchens.
So anyway, so I mean, I just think it's a nice tradition, and I like lighting the candles.
Yeah,
and it looks nice.
Yeah,
and we did actually really celebrate in the sense that you all did get a very little small 8 gifts.
You brought me gelt tonight.
I did bring you gelt. That's a tradition.
Yeah,
the Advent calendar with the chocolates.
Yep.
And it's so funny because I had to go to Carl Amer to get them this year because Stop and Shop had some for about 5 minutes. by the time I got there to buy them, they were gone. And the manager said, yeah, we had them for a little while. We only got one shipper of them. And once they were gone, that's it. We're not getting them in again.
Do you know the origin of the Advent calendar? Because now it's become such a thing. I mean, Lego has an Advent calendar.
Right.
I have Harry Potter there's Advent calendars with socks. There's all.
Yeah.
I mean, now all the big major Tiffany's has an Advent calendar for thousands of dollars.
Well, I don't know. I have not looked into it. It may be another German tradition. I really don't know because I get it I got the ones this year. I got them at the German import store.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that I'm waiting in line to pay for the Advent calendars. And one of the other customers was saying something about, oh yes, I got some for my grandchildren, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I have 5 of them in my hand. And I said, not a child involved in any of these. These are all going to grown-ups. They're all adults getting these. Yeah. And I'm getting one for myself.
Well, because we do. We love the traditions. I mean, I know you remember this too. There was finally a year I was probably 14 or 15 maybe. And Kat and I came out and there was, what do you mean you didn't hide any eggs
I
for
think
Easter?
you were older than that. I think Catherine was
she
14.
Might have been 14, yeah.
And you were 18.
But we came out and we were like, what the
fuck?
Where is...
There was no Easter egg.
We're supposed to be looking for some cheap plastic shit.
There was no Easter egg on.
What the...
And I was like,
we were like, the audacity to just decide we're not doing this anymore. Who the fuck do you think you are? Go get some damn eggs out here.
What do you mean there's no Easter egg hunt?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, who do you think you
but
are?
we'll have the Advent calendars. We'll have those because that involves chocolate. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start doing it around the house here, and the cats can find the eggs. That would be interesting.
Yeah. As long as you only use plastic.
No, I would just only use plastic.
Yeah.
Please. Oh my God. Yeah. Can you imagine?
No,
thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one year that I don't know how it happened or who it was or what it was, but there was an Advent calendar that you opened it and there was just a little picture behind the door.
Right.
With no chocolate. And I was like, the hell is this?
Kind of jit. What? I paid money for this? What the fuck? Yeah.
That is just not right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would only happen once.
Now you got to shake them all, make sure there's something in there.
That's I don't know if it was a gift from somebody or what it was, but I remember, yes, absolutely being incensed by that.
And rightfully so.
But yeah, so.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So every year you all get your Advent calendar and you get your little bag of gelt.
Yeah. But we are not, our family, we celebrate the majors. So we celebrate Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. My favorite memory still to this day, going over to Uncle Tom and Aunt Linda's house for Christmas Eve. That's still my favorite thing.
Yeah.
After Aunt Linda passed, Uncle Tom was very much like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have to be at your house on Christmas Eve. Like I have. So Tommy and his partner Laura are coming from France at Christmas time this year. Shout out Tommy and Laura. I know Tommy listens sometimes. Appreciate you. So I don't care what y'all are doing. I will be at your home on Christmas Eve because I literally like I feel wrong not being there.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's,
We did
it's
that for
really
many,
not
many
right.
years.
I just really can't. I
Yeah.
cannot not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we can show up after church.
Yeah. So
Because,
hear that, Uncle Tom? Again, he doesn't listen. He's 80. So but
I
we're
don't
coming
think
to your
year
home
has
with our
anything.
stuff.
Age
But
has anything to do.
he
with
doesn't
that,
fuck
but,
around with
yeah.
technology.
Oh, okay.
Bless him.
That's true.
And you know what? You don't need to. It's fine.
Yeah.
Got enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the ones we celebrate. We were never at like a barbecue, like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day.
4th of July, we used to go to Uncle Dick's. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
We did.
Yes.
We a few times,
Shout
not
out
every
Uncle
year.
Dick.
But
Shout out Cindy and Richie.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we did go to Uncle Dick's for 4th
And you
of
guys,
July.
Uncle Dick had a fucking in-ground pool. He's like the only person I knew.
Yeah,
that
and
had
it
an
not
in-ground
wasn't
pool.
just an in-ground pool.
Monstrous.
It was an L shape.
It was badass.
It was
And they
badass.
still have that
it had
pool.
yes.
And I keep threatening Cindy like every summer. I'm like, one of these days I'm coming to that pool. It's been a long time. But yeah, that was, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. And they
Yeah.
would do fireworks.
Yes.
That was a good fucking time. And that was one of those where like, they had some rough characters in their family. So like, that was one of those like cool parties. Cause like the adults were like,
I don't know. What do you
being
mean by rough
cool.
characters? Just because,
like Richie had a leather jacket and he drove a motorcycle.
well,
And then, you know, it was like, you know,
and Uncle Sal.
oh, and Uncle Sal.
Yes,
Something.
Uncle Sal.
I gotta get you guys on to talk about Uncle Sal. But it was like, you know, but it was one of those like, you know, it's the summertime and people had like work off and like, you know, there's just adults walking around with like beers in their hand. Like it's cool. And like kids are in the pool just being idiots. And like, it was just something about parties like that. And you're like, oh, this is like, it's like an adult party that I just happened to be at.
That was cool.
Yeah,
That was a
that
good
was a good
time.
time.
But
Thanks,
they had,
Uncle Dick,
we
for
used
that.
to, what do we used to call it though? We used to call it, not Shea Paltoff, but we used to call it, no, there was a word for it. It was
Yeah.
like the resort, like it was a resort or something.
Yeah,
it was like,
it's a great house.
it was, yeah.
Again, shout out Cindy
Yeah.
and Richie who live there now.
Yeah,
And it's awesome.
very nice.
Cindy, I'm coming to swim in your pool. Yeah.
Yes, very
Yeah,
nice.
good times.
So, yeah.
Yeah, good times. So
Yeah.
again, Uncle Tom, I'll be at your house on Christmas Eve, whether you're there or
Yeah.
not. I have a key, so I can just hang out. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But no, and then again, so again, 4th of July. So, but we had neighbors growing up, and I don't know if they still do this today. I'm sure they did. If they could get people over for Arbor Day, they'd any fucking reason.
Oh gosh, yes.
And there'd be cars lining the street.
yeah.
It would go for all hours. They
Yeah.
would go.
Oh,
They'd
yeah.
be in the front yard. They'd be in the backyard.
Yeah.
They'd be in the driveway.
Yeah, Memorial Day, Labor
Yeah.
Day.
And they didn't give a
4th
shit
of
about
July.
the law. So there were always
Yeah.
fireworks, whatever.
yeah.
And I swear to God, my dad, again, he's interesting. He would go out there
That's
and
one
Cat
word.
knows exactly that he would go out there with the hose and he would spray down the yard because he was convinced that their fireworks would get out of control one year and set the lawn ablaze. They were like 6 houses down. It wasn't
and
coming
they were
in our
like
direction.
sparklers and
But no,
stuff.
but
They
he
weren't,
was like, so
bottle
he'd be out there
rockets.
with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, pissed as shit, pissed as all hell. He's fucking idiots. What the fuck do they think they're fucking doing? Yeah, I gotta fuck my lawn up. Yeah. These are the memories we have. I love it so much. Because they would celebrate Labor Day. They would celebrate Memorial Day. They would celebrate 4th of July. It was always fireworks. It was always a barbecue. It was always a shit ton of booze and just people being loud and obnoxious. And
Yes.
yeah, good
Yeah.
times. Good times.
Yeah.
And then there's our dad. What the fuck is fucking? I think there was one year he wanted to like hose down the roof. He was like, so I'm like, no. It's calm down. It's fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my dad would like mow the lawn at midnight if he had lights on the tractor. So, you know, we've all got those neighbors.
Right.
All got their things.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like I said, life ebbs and flows. So the neighborhood ebbed and flowed too as the kids got older.
Yeah.
Things quieted down, and then there were new families would move in, and more littler kids would move in, and so,
Oh God, that was the summertime. That was the summertime too. It would just be nonstop kids screaming all day, every
my
day in
God,
the summertime.
yes,
And my
why?
dad would walk around the house, shut up! Oh, I fucking
Why?
hate
Well,
kids. And then
because
he'd
we
look
had-
at me and my sister and be like, well, not you, but he's got fucking goddamn. You have to scream every fucking
but
thing.
it's
Oh my
true.
God, yeah.
Everything at the top of their lungs. It's true. Like the kids, when they were in the pool next door, it was like,
Yeah.
it's scream. And that Marco Polo, oh my God.
Yeah. And we were fortunate enough, we grew up with a pool, but our neighbors literally on either side of us also
Right.
had pools too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
across the
so,
street and
yeah, so it was like
yeah.
competing for like who could be the most obnoxious in their backyard.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, anything else you
So
want to talk
anyway,
about?
well, there was something
Tradition,
that
holiday?
crossed my mind, and now of course it's gone.
Yeah.
So
We're very fortunate that no one ever comes to our house. I mean, not that we would invite anyone over, but our homes are small, so we can't really host, and my cousins have a larger family, so it's like, haha, thanks for
yeah. Well, I have done.
appreciative.
I mean, I have
not having to cook,
I have
not having to clean.
hosted Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah,
not for a
it's
very long time.
yeah.
Actually, I used to have a picnic in this summertime
That's
too.
true, yeah.
We you know, when the deck was in good shape,
Yeah.
and when
and you still
know,
yeah, and we always did birthday parties on the deck.
yes, we
yeah.
did birthday parties and that, and I
Yeah.
remember that. See, because I'm just not a very social person.
It's true.
The one party I had for Catherine, and a couple of the mothers in the neighborhood came over, brought their kids to the party, and would you like us to stay and help? And I
No.
said no,
Get out.
no, thank
I
you.
want to talk to you.
And they were, I'm sure they were deeply offended, and I'm still sorry.
Yeah.
That
No,
that-
they were thrilled. Oh yes, let's go get a glass of wine at a bar.
No,
or let me go get my
no, I don't
nails
think
done.
so. I think they were
See,
surprised, and
Again,
they were
different generation. Our generation, thank Christ. Yeah, you fucking deal with them for 2 hours. Oh, great. I'll be back. You know, if you want to turn this into a sleepover, I won't be mad about it. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of sleepover,
Oh, yeah, we had sleepovers.
You had sleepovers.
Sure did.
When there was one where you had, I think there were 12.
Yeah.
That was what maybe it was that your 12th birthday?
Something
maybe
like
it was
that, yeah.
maybe it wasn't 12. Maybe there were 8
Yeah.
at your 12th
All sprawled out in the
But we
living
got
room.
pizza.
Yep.
And we went for a walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we had a Ouija board, and one of the girls got freaked out and had to go home.
Yeah. She was not. I don't remember who that was. It might have been Crystal, but yeah.
So her mom
Shout
had
out
to
Crystal.
come and get her.
Yeah.
She was freaking out about the Ouija board. And I was like, all right, see y'all in the morning. I went to
Yeah.
bed.
Yep.
And it was fine. Then in the morning we made pancakes, and we had we had orange wedges, and we had,
There was one birthday one sleepover, we were determined to stay up all night long. We were down in the basement. We were determined. And I think we made it to like 3 a.m.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then-
I
then
vaguely
we were,
remember.
like,
That was
delirious
back when
and
the
just knocked
basement was
out.
still usable. That
Yeah.
was before the water,
Yeah.
which we're going to have to address.
That's
now.
a whole nother thing.
That's
Yeah.
a whole nother thing.
If anyone knows a decent contractor that's not going to rake my mom over the coals, we'd appreciate a phone call.
right?
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit gets old. You
A lot
got to
of-
take care of it.
A lot
It
of
is what
water
it is.
damage.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We've all been there. But yeah. So yeah, good times.
So yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no, I do. Yes, Christmas was usually very stressful, but like I say, I a lot of self-talk
yeah.
that, there's nothing that you have to do, and they're just trying to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
So don't
Well,
get
that's what it is. That's
by
what
the
it is.
advertising.
We
because
are pressured.
because they start. I mean, and you can tell
There's
it's like-
fucking Valentine's shit out right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
first of all,
Oh, I
who gives a
know.
fuck about
Oh, I
Valentine's
know.
to that
Oh,
degree?
we
Jesus.
just watched Candy Cane Lane.
Oh, I want to see it. I
Oh,
heard
it's
cute.
hilarious.
I heard it's really cute.
There's
Tammy,
one-
we're watching it tomorrow.
Yes, there's one scene where he goes out because there's this contest
Yes,
about
they were talking about it on my show. Yeah, on my radio show.
and there's one scene where he's going out to buy more Christmas stuff so he can add to his decorations.
Yeah.
And the first place he goes to is Walmart, and there's people like fist fighting in the aisles, and the
That sounds
shelves
about
are
right.
empty, and everything is trashed,
Yeah,
and there's
just
like
a day
nothing
that ends
there.
in a Y for Walmart.
And then they go to another store, and it may be like a Target or
Yeah,
whatever, and
Kohl's, something like
there's still some stuff. It's a little more civil,
Yeah.
whatever. And then he goes to the third store, and there's Valentine's shit everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, that is perfect. That is
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. But yes, it's very cute. It's very cute. It's very funny.
Yeah.
He does, it's Eddie Murphy. He does a
Yeah.
good job.
Well, I'm gonna wrap this up.
All right.
My family hates Elf on a Shelf. They
Yes.
hate it. So let's talk about that. Why do you dislike Elf on a Shelf?
Well, I don't like the whole concept of having this creepy little elf,
Yeah.
sitting on a shelf in your house watching over you.
Yeah.
because first of all, I never, well, there's so many parenting things that I've never agreed with.
Yeah.
And this whole transactional business, just I just never,
if you
I
behave,
never liked
you get
that.
a reward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no. No. I don't like the idea of this thing supposedly
well, and
watching
also
you,
because your feeling was that should be the standard all year round. You should be behaving, and you should
but you're behaving because it's the best thing to do, not because you're going to get a reward,
right? Or because a creepy elf is watching
and because
you.
a creepy elf is watching you. Yes, it's true. So no, I always when that whole concept was first introduced, I was like, oh no, no, not at all.
No, I fucking hate it. And I have flat out said to friends, I was like, if I had children, I would never love them enough to put myself through hell fun. I would never. If my kid asked for that, I'd say, I don't love you enough.
Yes.
To torture myself.
But
it's
see,
fucking horrible.
Well, again, the whole make believe thing.
Yeah.
I always told that you children that Santa was make believe, which does not mean
just like the Easter Bunny.
It doesn't mean that it's not meaningful.
Yeah.
But the whole, the whole the whole what the heck is
concept?
The word that I want to use? Just the convoluted, that you have to keep making up stories of like, well, why is Santa's wrapping paper the same as our wrapping paper, and why, I mean, all of that stuff is like, why put yourself through that? And and then the older brother tells the little girl, well, it's not really Santa, it's mommy, and then everybody gets all pissed off that, oh my God, you ruined her Christmas. No, because that's not what Christmas is about to me. I mean, what Christmas is really about is much more magical to me than some fat guy in a red suit. So, I mean, this is the case with lots of things, that reality is wonderful enough without having to make shit up.
Sure.
It doesn't, I mean, a new birth or spring coming or, all of this stuff it's wonderful enough in reality that you don't have to make shit up to make it better or to, add to it or whatever. So, I mean, I never, in the Easter Bunny, and that was what it was. What I remember, one of my favorite memories, maybe you don't remember it, but we used to read The Night Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
On Christmas Eve.
Even when we were older, we would still, we would go to her and be like, well, we're doing this, right?
Right. Yeah. And we would read A Night Before Christmas, and then when we would say, and to all a good night, and then it was time to go to bed. Yeah. And I remember one Christmas, and again, we didn't make a big deal about Santa Claus. We said it was make-believe. Yeah. But as we're reading Night Before Christmas, and there's a part there about the reindeer, the tapping on the roof of the reindeer's hoofs, and Daddy knocked on the coffee table or something, and you all, oh, everybody was like, oh, what was that? And then time to go to bed because Santa can't come until you're sleeping, and so and we would leave cookies out, and we'd leave carrots for the reindeer, sure, and I would eat them, and it was great
while you were wrapping, and
yes. Absolutely. Well, that was another tradition, to stay up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning wrapping presents. I don't do that anymore. I've learned to do it ahead of time. Yeah. So, but that was a tradition for a while. So, but anyway, it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, and listen, if you do Elf on a Shelf, good for you. That's great. I have seen some friends do a really nice job with it, but no. Yeah. I'll never love my kids enough. But it's fine. I'm not having kids, so it's okay.
That's not what it's about at all. And I'm not a big into make believe. I'm just not.
Or like intimidation, like intimidating you into
that too.
Behaving.
Yeah.
Well, however you celebrate, whatever you do, I hope everyone is enjoying the holiday season thus far. I mean, I know Christmas is still a ways away by the time this episode airs, but it's just something so magical. I decorated earlier than I ever have this year. I just couldn't wait anymore. I was just feeling cozy, and it got dark outside, and I said,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I really
hang out
don't
some
have a
stuff.
problem with starting Christmas early.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to be pressured.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and again, and it's they just want to sell you something.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy Christmas and you can enjoy the decorations and you can enjoy the spirit of it
Yeah.
without feeling pressured to go out and buy stuff.
But again, retail stores, no one gives a fuck about Valentine's Day. Like, you don't have to go so hard. Like, calm down. No one gives a flying fuck about Valentine's Day to that degree. Jesus. Well, you guys, this was Try Not to Curse. Again, I am Elizabeth Marvel. Thanks, Mom, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And
always fun to talk about myself.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's a nice way to look at it. Well, we will see you guys next time. Thanks so much.